Hello, everybody, and welcome to Graded Point Live. Tonight we have two special guests. We have Ishiro and Rocha from what is your publishing thingy? I'm sorry.
01 Publishing.
Thank you, because I did no research whatsoever. No, I'm kidding. I did do some research. I went blank on that. I was thinking about Case File Arkham, which is on the screen right now, so everybody can check that out. And also in a link in the description. Go give them money. So
absolutely, you're going to want to give us money for Case File Arkham if you haven't already. It is a cult noir set in the 1940s. It's got all the things you like about film noir and Lovecraft. If you long for the days where the men were men, the women were beautiful, and creatures from the abyss didn't have a trigger warning, it's the book for you.
I like that. That's a great pitch.
Piper, that's how you do an elevator pitch, right? An elevator pitch is not, it's super gay like Zoe Quinn did. That's.
She really did say that.
Yeah. That bit of, give me money and I'll buy something gay.
So it looks like you made, still in demand. If anybody's wondering, still in demand. You got $13,010. That needs to go higher. We need, at least, that needs to be at least $25,000. That's just my feeling.
I agree.
Just my feeling,
I agree.
Actually, I just put a package in the mail today.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, one of the reasons I was pointing in your direction is because you need to talk to publishers, Wayne. I'm like, okay, who the publishers? So, now, I said I was going to ask this. Do you publish more books than NPC Comics? Sorry.
I'm sorry, you just blue screened my brain. Did you just ask if I published NPC books?
No. Do you publish more books than NPC Comics? Because until they wild out a few weeks ago, we had no idea who they were. So that's why
nobody knew who they were. They supposedly have books that they're gonna publish.
But they have books that nobody knows where they're at.
To be honest, nothing against them. I only learned of their existence very recently, so I have not taken it. I have not taken the opportunity to look at their catalog. But we not only publish graphic novels, we also publish prose. So.
That's good. That was kind of the joke that we did do an in-depth dive into their what they are, and they're not much.
Yeah, you definitely do publish more than. I just love that that's their freaking name, and they don't get it.
No awareness.
Yeah.
No. We've been around for 15 years. I'm like, I'm sorry.
How many books have they published?
From what I could see. And like I said, I don't know their past catalog. All I could see was what was on their website. Maybe 2 books. And
there was like a handful of coming soon that was like nothing but the they didn't even have a description. They put the what is it? Ipsum text in there on their site.
Yeah. So yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So now that the jokes are out of the way, I guess the question I would ask, since I've looked into, like, of course, the reading side because I'm a consumer of comics. Of course, I've looked into, and I've heavily looked into distribution because I feel that Diamond Comics is the mafia. Which
we don't go through Diamond for multiple reasons.
Yeah. I can understand why. Yeah, I understand why. And funny, I have a story about that a little later. But one of those things that kind of falls in your lap. Apparently Diamond's going to save the comic book industry. They got a great idea.
Do they?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you about that later. And like I said, but the publishing side, because obviously I can't. Nobody from Marvel or DC is going to talk to me. So tell us what goes into that. What do you do? Would be starting.
Well, that's encompasses an awful lot of information. Do you have any specific questions that are absolutely pressing on your mind?
Well, let's see. One thing.
Otherwise, I'm just going to start at a random spot and go.
One thing that I always do is when I get stuck with when I get stuck and don't know what to talk about, I ask the chat.
Well, I can start off by saying this, especially in today's day and age. What a publisher does is all the things you, the creator, don't have the time to do. So just think of it that way. And yes, I am saying that perfectly frankly. With so much technology out there that make it easier for people to publish, the resources are so much more accessible, with places like Amazon allowing for distribution. Really, a publisher's job now is to do all the things you as the creator don't have the time to do, or don't have the, well, quite frankly, skills to do, because you're too busy creating. The publisher is the one who gets your stuff, distributed. A publisher can be the one to promote and advertise for you. A publisher can be your pimp, basically. Wow. The publisher keeps track of, when your books sell and how much money you're making. Those are all things publishers can do. Each publisher, does varying degrees of each one. Their main priority is distributing your books for you. But that is number one, what publishers do nowadays. You were about to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, I'm going to be perfectly frank. You don't need a publisher nowadays, but a publisher can make your life easier, and a publisher can have more resources than you can because they've been around longer, they've been playing the game longer, they're more experienced. And again, creative people are exactly that, creative. Keeping track of money, keeping track of books, and promoting are all different skill sets, and not everybody has those.
Well, I'm going to be upfront. That is true, but if you can't promote your book, it really doesn't matter how good your publisher is.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with that.
If you can't back your book up and promote it yourself, the promotion your publisher does isn't going to do you a lot of good.
I do agree with that. I've had experience with creators who really weren't interested in promoting their own books, and it can kill the momentum of a book. But I just wanted to say that in a nutshell, what the job of a publisher is. It's to do all the things that you can't do because of time or skill set because you're busy creating.
Yeah, they kind of do the grunt work then. The
pretty much. We got into this because I started life off as a creator. Ishii and I have been publishing since 2006 together. We first started off with our project Utopiates.
Well, we didn't publish that.
Well, I was getting to that.
Okay.
As he just said, we went through a publisher. We went through Bloodfire Studios at the time, who no longer exists, and decided not to stay with Bloodfire for reasons. And then then we did Titanium Rain with Archaea before they were owned by Boom. And again, there are reasons why we're no longer with them, but basically we got tired of being shafted. And I said, you know what? I'm better off at doing books anyway. I realized that art really was not where my passion was, as much as I love doing it. Ishii, he needs to concentrate on his career as a writer. So I went to school, I got my degree in business, and we started 01 Publishing.
Awesome.
That's
amazing. That's kind of whatever it was that was frustrating y'all about other publishers. Since you know that from a creator's standpoint that was bothering you, then you know what not to do with creators.
Yeah, well, the necessity became very apparent around 2009. And while the influx of Hollywood money in the short term was very good for comics, it really did lay the groundwork for the huge SJW mess that we're in now.
Yeah.
Because Hollywood came in and they were a bunch of degenerate pieces of shit. And I do mean the tone and attitude of comics in general and behind the scenes totally changed overnight. Mm-hmm. It went from kind of the nerd club with people who were, socially maladjusted and obsessed with their fandoms to hookers and cocaine and very
it's funny you mentioned that. Had this discussion. I was gonna say I had this discussion the other day with some folks, and we said, I remember when I was a nerd and I could get beat up for it. That was more fun than what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of don't mind being shunned for being a nerd instead of being shunned for things that I'm not now. Like, that sucks.
I got a brief mention real quick. My other co-host, Xavier, has just joined us. He was late as usual.
Sorry about that. I'd like to apologize to the viewers, to the guest, and to you, Master.
No, thank you.
No, you're fashionably late is what it is.
Wait, which one of you is Master?
I'm the Master.
Yes.
I don't want to know what that relationship's about.
I should have said that. Just yes. We should just went yes.
Wait, what you do in your private bedroom is fine with me, but
well, only one of us advertises at Piper. But anyway,
do what now?
See, just totally.
She makes it hurt so good.
But Cat Ishiro,
I don't doubt that.
Cat Ishiro, this is Xavier. He's a regular. He's
Hello, nice to meet you.
He's kind of a writer too, sort of. Gotta give him some crap, but yeah, we were just talking about the takeover essentially that's been happening. I mean, I would say that Hollywood's been pretty degenerate for years, anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were degenerate for years, but what I mean is that the moment they took over comics, they brought all that crap with them, and they purposely chased all the geeks out.
Right.
Yeah.
And in 2009, we saw the groundwork being laid for the SJWs to take over because comics stopped being about content, and it was more about who is making the comics.
Mm-hmm.
What, Zachary Quinto?
Yeah, Zachary Quinto, and basically whose name was attached to this title or that title. It was
never about the quality of the art, the writing. It was who was making the comics mattered, and what agenda they could attach it to,
and what company was potentially thinking possibly about maybe optioning it.
Yeah.
I've heard
whether or not they actually were.
I've heard people talk about that before, where the comics aren't being written to be sold as comics; they're being written to be optioned off as either made for movies or miniseries.
Yeah. Actually, I think that phase is past.
Thankfully.
Now we're just stuck with political propaganda tracks.
Which is true, but at the time, it really was the bane of my existence, where people are saying, "Well,
This is just an issue 1. We're not going to finish the series. This is just for the movie."
No. It's like, well, this is basically just the storyboard. We don't have to worry about actually creating anything, right? It's like, no, comics are not storyboards for movies.
So when's this going to be in stores? Oh, it's not going to be in stores. We're just trying to get a producer to pick it up.
Yeah.
That was a real common thing at San Diego.
Ishii likes to. This is also a good thing for anybody out there wanting to know how to pitch their comic or get a feel for how to get your book out into the world. Go around to conventions and ask people for their elevator pitches or for what their plans are for their comics. Ishii did that for years to learn what to do and what not to do to promote his books.
Okay, actually, I've got a story about that. Before I do, Daniel Fitzpatrick had made a great comment here, which said, "It's all Felicia Day, Will Wheaton, and Big Bang Theory's fault." Very close. It was Hollywood invited those fuckers in, and yeah, those fuckers ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they did.
I really, I knew Wheaton was a pile of shit. And it really got on my nerves. Oh, he's such a cool guy. No, he isn't. He's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's acting. Anybody can be nice for money.
Right.
Yeah,
nice in a room for a few hours for money.
most of the things that I've seen Will Wheaton involved in, from like I know he has taken over like 2 YouTube channels and they failed afterwards, pretty much. I know he got involved with Penny Arcade when they were doing their D&D
Acquisitions
stuff.
Incorporated, yeah.
Yeah, he got involved in that, and it went south very quickly after he got involved. So
his character got killed in the first session, if I remember right.
they should have took that as a hint. And
I've got a Will Wheaton story for you, but yeah.
Oh, I'm interested. Tell me more, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, tell it.
Okay, when I was in college, I lived for the first 2 years of college, I lived in Inland Empire here in California. And the weird thing about it, a lot of great bands came out of the Inland Empire, but there was just a very vibrant community on Fair, and there was a lot of crossover with Hollywood for some reason.
Well, a lot of the prop masters would go to Glen Helen, for their off time.
Really?
So yeah, that's why that particular show was so good. It was all the prop masters and the weaponsmiths would go there.
And apparently, behind the scenes at the Renaissance Fair, it was like nudism and orgies and alcohol. It was just debauchery from. I never saw it, but apparently was one of the big attractions. So all the hedonists would get together, and it was a party. And there was a year, it was right after, or the first or second season of Star Trek The Next Generation was on. It was one of those two. And Will Wheaton was there. And he was just apparently the most, my friends were telling me about how he was just the most snide, stuck-up piece of, just this brat that you wanted to strangle. And he was convinced that he was a big star and he was going to get laid. And nobody wanted anything to do with him. And by the second or third day, he was so upset that no girl would even come close to him that he got completely shit-faced drunk on mead and apparently was going into this long, oh my God, no one likes me. No one, I'm going to fuck this tree. That's it. If no one's going to fuck me, I'm going to go fuck this tree. Apparently, he pulled his pants down and started dry humping a tree.
Wow.
Now, and I don't know if he, you know what, I shouldn't name the people who saw this happen, but but yeah, it was apparently a very infamous incident among Ren Fair community for a number of years.
Captain Picard would be so disappointed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So another fun one. Kat was mentioning that I would always do I would walk around and ask people what their pitch for their comic was. And it was interesting because I could really track the decline of the industry by what the popular pitch was each year. Because, for the longest time when I was in comics, 90 or to 2009, 2008, the pitch was, it's Buffy, but with aliens. It's Buffy, but with zombies. That was the pitch. That was the pitch everybody had, was my book's like Buffy, but with. And then for a couple years it was it's Walking Dead, but with.
Oh boy.
Oh, I remember the zombie run. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a slight change where suddenly I knew there was something severely wrong when it stopped being things like, it's Buffy with, it's Walking Dead with. There was one other big property that had come out that everyone wanted.
There was a small spat of it's Sin City with.
Yeah, it's Sin City with. And then after 2012, that was the date. After 2012, it went from, well, my book's feminist.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it wasn't even what it was about. My book's feminist.
Or empowering.
I didn't know you could write garbage.
And then after that, the last time I did this, it was at Emerald City in
16?
Yeah, 2016, and the pitch had declined to
The Rise of the God Emperor. Yes, go on.
My book's got a trans.
Yep, my book's got a trans.
That was the pitch. My book's got a trans.
Don't you like how they just boil it down like that? It's got a
trans.
Well,
what's it about? My book's got a trans. What's it about?
No, it's got a trans in it. They were doing a thumbs up the whole time, and an inner thumbs up. Like I am so on the progressive stack now.
There was that year where it was everything was trying to be. It was Hunger Games. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying it's either Twilight or Hunger Games, but with.
But it was weird because they were also adding,
Feminist.
later it was, it's Hunger Games but feminist. It's
Twilight but gay.
Yeah, it's Twilight but gay. Yeah.
That Twilight was gay.
Plot. The thing is that's actually kind of a plot. So that is a description.
And then there was the year that it was everyone wanted to do a children's story, so it was it's for girls. It's girl friendly.
Yeah, it's girl friendly.
What's it about? It's girl friendly, princeless. It's girl friendly. It's
also it's girl empowering.
Girl empowering.
So
I hate that word empowering. I hate it.
I got a question. The idea of the Hunger Games but feminist. Did they watch the Hunger Games? Because
maybe they were upset that Jennifer Lawrence had breasts, and so they needed to make it feminist by making her look like Carl Manvers or something. I don't know, or maybe because Katniss had a boyfriend that was degrading.
You need more body positivity in the Hunger Games. You need some people who are obese and quote unquote realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, nobody wants to see my fat ass on screen, all right, Xavier? That's just,
I wasn't going to say anything, but while we're on the subject.
Son, you really need to lose weight. Oh, thanks.
Mother and I aren't saying anything about the wigs.
Just so make sure I cover everybody out, because I keep an eye on my chat, but sometimes I get comments on Twitter, and the first comment I got after shilling the link was, didn't expect you guys to start off denying the Holocaust, going hard from Go today. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's one of my shit post buddies. He just likes to mess around. Don't take him seriously. He's probably.
I like this one from Daniel Fitzpatrick.
Never mind. Whoop.
The Hunger Games, except it's just people trying to lose weight.
That's good. It's fat camp.
Isn't that just Biggest Loser?
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Biggest Loser, but they die.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's just like Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Did someone die?
I don't think anybody's like. Well, the one of the trainers, I think he almost died like a year ago.
As I understand it, the people that are on that show after the show is over tend to have extreme health problems because they lost a lot of weight very, very quickly.
Yeah, what they're doing on there is actually very not good for you.
What happens is, like, not only that, the things they don't show you on the show is like they give you a lot of supplements and things like that to make you lose weight quicker. And the problem is that a lot of these people develop what the term is, I believe it's hyperactive metabolism. So if you go back to what we would call a healthy diet, right? Even if it's a healthy diet and you go to I'm going to do an hour of exercise per day, you still gain weight because your metabolism is expecting more. It's expecting you to work out 6 hours a day. So the thing is, it's like it just starts storing even the little stuff, stuff that shouldn't make you gain weight. It makes you gain weight. So
it would probably be one thing if they kind of like wound these people down once the show was over. I kind of, worked them down to a normal diet and exercise rate. But once the show's over, who cares?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I've got my $250,000. I'm out of here. Kind of.
Release the hounds.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go eat some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll check the chat here. So it's a gym. Yes. Jason Black, are you by chance related to Aaron Black? Never heard of them. Let's see. You're talking to people in the chat instead of paying attention to the guest. Good job, Piper.
What?
You know what you did.
Y'all been talking. I've been listening. I only just looked at the chat actually, so I missed a lot.
I was trying to be funny and failing as usual. We're having a good chat tonight, apparently.
I do think what you're saying about pitches is extremely interesting because Optimus, do you remember Zoe Quinn's pitch for Goddess Mode?
Oh yeah, we were talking about that was the first thing we mentioned. How the elevator pitch was like it's super gay.
Yeah, you missed their Case File Arkham pitch because it was really good.
Yeah, they nailed it. It was.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Well,
Case File Arkham. It's not super gay.
I mean,
I'm sold.
it's like, well then. But you'll get another chance.
The women in it are hot and stacked.
Yeah.
Yes.
You already had my money. Let me just open my wallet. I'm going to start putting 20s on the table. You tell me when I put enough down.
That's how you
Yes,
throw it
we
out.
did hear that Disney might shut down Marvel.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
one of the
thinking of throwing a
things-
party.
That's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. In fact, let's
I
just
want to have a going away party.
let's just get right to it.
Hey,
Now, like I
Dale
said,
and Kelly DeConnick, you built this.
yeah.
Well, they need something to like make up the revenue for Star Wars.
How about they shut down that too? They
Yeah.
just stop touching that.
Shut these down. Shut these
So this
walls
is
down.
from
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like I said,
Shut
this
it
is
all down.
this article is I'm taking it right now with a pinch of salt because
Yeah.
we don't know how we don't know what might happen. This is like some
Well,
things
no.
that are
What they do is they shut it down so then they can hit the hard reboot button. It's like, look, we've brought it back. It's like, it's only been 6 months. Yes, we brought it back.
Did you miss us? I hope so.
and
Like,
this
look,
time
we haven't
and this
had time
time
to be
Iron Man
nostalgic yet. We're
and this
still
time Iron Man is
celebrating
Riri.
the fact that the horror is over.
Yeah, this time Riri Williams is Iron Man from the beginning because it's a new universe. Haha, I got you. We got you
Yeah.
all. We fooled you.
I fooled you.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, how many sources are reporting on this?
Right now, I've only got Cosmic Book News. I was looking
That's
for other
what.
ones,
Yeah.
and we'll see. Like I said, if this actually
Yeah.
has some relevance to it, it will gain traction. And it really goes into it really goes against what CBR was reporting yesterday, which I got on the screen right now. Comic sales rise over 500,000 in January, despite major Marvel fluctuations.
Mm-hmm.
Once
sure.
again, I have to. I need to go. There would be no point, but go into CBR comments section and like, okay, let me explain to you how Diamond works.
Yeah.
Because we have. I'm surprised we haven't been whacked. In all honesty, because I basically said was it a month ago when we talked about Diamond, guys.
A month and a half, almost 2 months.
Yeah. I basically said that Diamond is basically the mafia.
Yeah.
Because there's everything we looked into. Xavier here went and looked at the definition of mafia, and it all lined up.
I would say the only thing is the mafia is profitable.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
They don't care. Yeah. Oh, you can make us a buck? Great. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. But like one of the things was like
Well, Diamond's profitable to Diamond.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're stupid about it. I mean, they wouldn't carry Case File Arkham because they didn't like the size.
Actually, from what I understand it, they're just scraping by.
Oh.
Oh, but they got a way to save it. Like I said, we'll get to that in a minute. They figured out a way to save it apparently. But I wanted to mention this because saying comics, a bunch of number ones with a bunch of variant
5
covers,
million
and,
different variant. Yeah.
yeah, and all that kind of crap. So. Yeah, like I don't even have to read the article. I literally don't have to read the article to already know it's just a shill piece to try to say, see guys, those comics gay guys are wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. Comics are fine. Look at Batman. Batman still sells well because it's fucking Batman.
You gotta try to fuck up Batman.
Yeah, I mean,
And they are trying.
They're
too.
trying. They're trying really. They're trying to. If I ever see Jeff Johns not Jeff Johns, that would be okay. Brian Michael Bendis on Batman, just bury him. Put
Rip.
Bruce Wayne in the grave and put dirt over him because
Rip.
that's it.
Let me make something perfectly clear here.
Mhm.
I'm an atheist, and I put my foot down and say, no, goddammit, Batman is fucking Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Not a guy carries.
Yeah.
Batman has a deep. I think people misinterpreted what Tom King was doing. He was trying to say that he was having a crisis of faith in the Bat. Not in his God is Bat, the Bat. The Bat is him. So his quote God was failing him, and that's where his crisis was coming from. That's where I interpreted it. But they mentioned God. It's like, oh, God, Batman's an atheist. I got him. Take that, Christians.
Yeah, that would be like making Daredevil atheist. It's like, forget it. It's not the character anymore. Go to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you know that Daredevil 2, apparently, Daredevil 2 came out like today, or, the other day, Wednesday, and spent most of the issue eating a sandwich.
Are you? Oh my God!
Did Gail Simone write it?
Probably. Maybe.
Nobody realized. The whole thing about how her books are more and more about characters eating food now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything she writes, the characters spend more and more time eating.
Well, that's assuming she gets the book in on time at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and suddenly the fact that she made her name in a thing called Women in Refrigerators is kind of, Gail in Refrigerator.
Yeah, refrigerator.
Gail, get your head out of refrigerator.
Gail adjacent to refrigerator. Refrigerator needs food, is about to die.
I'm not in the fridge, I'm in the freezer.
Look, Gail, trying to have a body that matches Faith and cosplaying the character is nothing to be proud of.
No.
Man, that was a burn. God.
Damn. Oh, well, you know what her latest thing is? She said, Gail recently said something about the eight women in Comicsgate, or the 8 Comicsgate women are garbage. They can't make comics, so they have to make fun of the looks of the people that can, or some shit like that.
Well, I said
that was her latest thing, and I'm like, oh, you salty.
Yeah, last I checked, your creator-owned comic went absolutely nowhere.
Ooh. But here's the funny thing. When she said that, I was like, well, at least she's acknowledging at least 8 women. Before, it was like men who were pretending to be women. So.
Yeah, now she's
acknowledges that there are females.
I think she just picks all the women in Comicsgate look so much better than...
Exactly.
I said that.
Why would you bring that up?
Yeah. It's like, yes, all the women in Comicsgate, yes, all you lovely ladies out there in Comicsgate are so much hotter than any of the other mainstream girls. Sorry.
That actually isn't an exact. It is kind of
not either.
We are hot, ladies.
Yeah, I was going to ask Piper and Kat, how long have you been men? Because
apparently since Dan Slott told me I was a
dude.
Yeah, Dan Slott told Piper that she was a dude. So.
And that was back in Gamergate bullshit era. Like Comicsgate hadn't even happened yet, but I was talking with him about a comic thing.
Does that mean that you're more man than Dan Slott?
Yeah.
I met Gail Simone once. She told me there'd be no bargaining for Solo or the Wookiee, but on a more positive note, she said I was her kind of scum.
Oh, Gail, what were you thinking? We had a episode. I forgot what we were talking about. I was reading an article, and I have had you can ask these guys. We've had fits about the whole fridging article and how it basically got her into comics and how she's slowly, systematically trying to ruin them. And
she wind her way into a comics career. Like it's kind of.
I was reading an article.
Impressive.
I was reading an article unrelated to her on the stream, and then it came up and it said about, and it's a term called fridging. I got so angry I threw my keyboard across the room. I said I am so sick and tired of seeing that term. It's kind of like you said. What was the term you said you hated to hear, Kat? You said it earlier.
What?
You said it
was empowerment.
Empowerment. Yeah. I hate fridging. That's my trigger warning. It's like as soon as I hear it, I'm like. So.
Well, it's just okay. To be perfectly honest, when I first got into comics, way back in the early aughts, I looked at that article of hers and I thought, okay, I can kind of see where she's coming from with the idea of, killing somebody just to, give your characters a reason to go off and boot some head. But you know what? That happens to male characters too all the time. And it's like the more I looked at the article and the more I looked at her parameters, I'm like, this is all bullshit.
Well, I remember there was that whole period in which you started getting more and more.
Trying to find at least one that was genuine on what she was pissed off at, and none of them fit the parameters.
Yes.
None of them were sexist portrayals. None of them were, completely outlandish reasons to kill, maim, cause violence towards. I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like, they're superheroes.
Didn't she also count characters who were either hermaphrodite or androgynous?
Yeah. Hermaphrodite, androgynous.
A robot.
Yeah, robots. It's like, well, they look female. Like, what?
Robots aren't people.
Basically, it's if anything bad happens to a woman-ish character, period.
Yeah.
It counted. Even though her very first example, yeah, it made sense. But you know what? That shit happens in plots sometimes.
Exactly.
And yeah, it happens regardless of gender. Sometimes a character needs a kick in the pants.
Well, look at, Death Wish 3, where his best friend gets gunned down just to give him a reason to go on another rampage.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it got to the point you had to come up with excuses for Charles Bronson to go on a rampage.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Like, okay, what can we show now that he gives a damn about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like, it's a reasonable tactic, too. I want to get under this hero's skin, or fuck them up, or scare them, whatever it might be. And I know where their loved ones are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a viable tactic.
I mean, is that the case? Was what happened to Sue Dibney in Identity Crisis? Would that be considered fridging? I mean.
No, I just consider that completely out of character for some of those heroes. Actually, I thought the idea that they were going for was great. The actual concept of present something harsh for our heroes to be challenged with was great. I thought the execution was terrible.
I think where it went wrong, we've talked about this before, and I love the story, but where things went wrong is when it went away from it being a crime story to a more cape shit.
Yeah.
And which is not, like to say I don't like it. It's just trying to figure out what the hell, who is this person? How did they get around? And I would have still, it's still going to find have been Gene Loring, being the murderer. It's just.
Yeah, I would have liked it if they had stuck. I liked the mystery aspect of it. Yeah. The most. Well, so if they had just stuck in there and maybe drug out the mystery part a little bit, would have been cool.
Well, I really like, and I have definitely taken Ishii's viewpoint of no more deconstructions of superheroes. That's been done to death. But I love the idea of putting heroes in situations that challenge their own morals and their own code of conduct.
Yeah, I love that.
And what just to bring up for Red Hood, it's him saying, look, I've forgiven you for, I know you couldn't save me. That's fine. You're only human. It's the fact that this dipshit's still alive.
Yeah.
That's what I can't forgive. And I loved that. And him saying, no, I can't kill him because, even to kill this dirtbag would push, I can't go back.
And the thing is that isn't a deconstruction like people claim.
No,
that was superheroes at their best because it really was a philosophical, moral question.
Yeah, why?
What is right? What is wrong?
What is right? What is wrong? How far is too far? And being presented with this really good question of morals. Batman could have killed Joker at any time, but he didn't, because even to break his rule just once, he knew he'd be lost, and that. Genius.
It was like, maybe you are right, but I can't cross that line.
Yeah, it's that stuff is what I love about superheroes and comics and the story, this medium of storytelling that we all love. And that's why it's so frustrating that the big two are just pissing it all away.
What, you don't think that we need more stories about girls dealing with their period?
No.
I do need more. I do need more stories of gay Iceman eating a sandwich before he goes and does superheroing. That would be absolutely
killing people with an ice penis.
What a way to go, right?
I think the thing I really liked about that speech from Red Hood, I read the book, but I also saw the movie, and I think the movie might be sticking out in my mind more, was when Batman said he couldn't kill the Joker not because it was hard.
Exactly. And again, it's that hard, tough decision. Point to any book that's been put out in the last 3 years that even comes close to an actual moral choice or an actual moral decision.
And see, that's why the question, when done right, is great, because the question's the one that will go, no, I do have to kill him.
Yeah.
I would say that the reason why we're not having like moral quandaries like that is because it's really hard to make really important life decisions when you're too busy eating at diners and drinking coffee and pooping.
Yeah. Well, we've got a whole generation raised on moral relativism, and the concept of right and wrong have been so blurred, or even the message that, oh, there is no right and wrong, it's all a matter of perspective. No. Bullshit. I disagree. Yeah, we tell these stories about what right and wrong is over and over again because we do wrestle with it, because it is real.
Yeah, that's like saying like Joker gasses a bunch of people and kills them, and it's like, well, you got to look at it from his perspective. No, I don't.
Well, look at how many books now the heroes are pretty much villains.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, they're just writing what they know.
I mean, right? Like, when Johns was still I keep saying Johns. When Bendis was still writing Iron Man, Riri Williams, she was a sociopath. Mm-hmm. I mean, straight up. She was like, I'm going to go conquer Latveria because why not?
Serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a whole... it was basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. and everybody was telling her, that is no matter what you think about them, they are a sovereign nation and you can't do anything about it. And she ignores everything and goes and conquers Latveria.
Yeah, she fights some Doombots. I think she fought somebody else with armor, and just declared herself ruler of Latveria and dared anybody to challenge her.
What was Dr. Doom like sleeping? Was he on vacation in Bermuda or something? I mean,
there
was tons of panels of him eating a sandwich or eating Taco Bell, and then he was stuck on the toilet.
Hey, what's going on?
Paper and not a Doombot in sight.
Yes, exactly.
Don't I have magic for this? Shit, I don't.
God.
I mean, people forget that Doom, there's a time when Doom was like considered next in line to be Sorcerer Supreme, but who cares, right? He's got to eat his sandwich.
Yeah.
One
of the greatest supervillains in the world, and some twerp in an armor suit kicks his ass.
Made out of garbage.
Yeah. That's another thing. Okay, let's talk about, we want to make, we want to empower, here we go with that word again. We want to empower girls and empower women. We want to show that they could be just as good as the man. And what did they make Riri Williams? They made her a black girl that steals shit.
Yep.
That's not as bad as remember when she was in elementary school? She needed something to push herself to achieve.
She basically wanted her teacher to oppress her.
Yeah.
To tell her she couldn't do it.
Alarm clock?
You know what the difference? You know what Batman and Riri Williams have in common? They can't go outside at night without Robin.
Oh, got him.
Well,
hey, Bendis wrote
that for a while.
Yeah. Oh man, but no. And
dude, I remember that she was like demanding her teacher oppress her so that she could overcome it.
She was telling the teacher, "You need to tell me I can't do something," and she's like, "No."
You're actually putting that in your books as an obstacle to overcome. Your hero has lost. Your hero is not a hero anymore. Your hero is a pity party and what's the term? Affirmative action. You know. Seriously.
So that's how the whole thing started. Was like, she said, "You need to tell me I can't do this," and she's like, "No, you can literally be, you can literally be anything you want anything you want. She says,
that's not how this works. You need to tell me I can't be something.
And finally the teacher said, fine, you can't be Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah, that. And that's what she aimed to be. Tony Stark. Yeah.
She came
I did read about that.
Flipped her around with many, many different women. And
we also want you to...
you need a dick that's a mile long.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Captain America.
Jason Black writes, as Did You Wombat is saying, the writers don't read. When was the last time you heard of a character quoting Shakespeare or Greek tragedy? Well, read my books, such as Case File Arkham 1 and 2.
Well played.
Well, let's go.
You will find that.
Go to the pitch. Here we go. Back to the page. So hit it.
Actually, my first series, Utopia, I have an entire character who speaks in twisted Bible quotes, where they take the Bible quote and just change a few words to make it mean something else.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like something a degenerate atheist would do.
Yeah,
I'm joking. Don't take me seriously.
It's a classic trope, you know, somebody just doing Bible quotes, especially crazy serial killers. I think.
Well, actually, no, that's not the angle I took. What I was inspired by. Here's the thing. The book was called Utopia. It was kind of a Blade Runner meets Train Spotting. It's about this future in which there's this drug which allows you to inject personalities for a temporary amount of time. And there was this figure that ties all the stories together that was a dealer. And she was supposed to be kind of an embodiment of the drug, almost an urban legend. Is she real? Is she not? And so I was trying to get the character to always speak in either cliche lines that sound familiar or twisted Bible quotes, specifically to play off the notion that a lot of heroin addicts will describe the drug use as a religious experience.
That's cool. That's a really cool angle.
Available now through 01 Publishing.
That's how you shill, by the way.
20, 40, 60. Tell me when.
Midnight Images says in the chat, I'm actually in the middle of reading Case File Book 1 now. So far, I'm loving it. So,
excellent, thanks. Book 3 should go into production by the end of the year.
Nice.
But first, I've got another thing I got to get done.
It's always another thing.
Yeah, don't I know it?
Oh, actually, no. It ties directly into what we're talking about right now. For all the time that I've been in comics, I've had absolutely no interest in writing superheroes because for the longest time, you had the best writers and the best artists writing the best characters from the biggest two publishers. What was the point? Why even bother? It was just kind of there was nothing interesting to do other than imitate. Right. But now with the big two completely declining and losing their way and just deconstructions of deconstructions of deconstructions, and now just turning into propaganda, I realized the door was open to start playing with that world, superhero world and moral questions. And so I just had a burst of inspiration, and the next book I'm doing is a superhero title.
Nice. I just said nice.
Now is definitely the time if you have an idea, just because they don't do adventure stories anymore. It's all, navel-gazing deconstructionism. And I think people are really hungry for just a good old-fashioned adventure story. Some cool people go somewhere interesting and do some cool things. The end.
Well, the book isn't that. Just to kind of give you a sense of where I'm going, the notion is that roughly for the last 30 or so years, comics have been deconstructing the superhero myth. And I wanted to tell a story that aimed to reconstruct the superhero. We've gotten plenty of fascist dystopian futures populated by asshole superheroes. Why not an oppressive, politically correct dystopia where someone chooses to become a hero for all the right reasons? Someone taking the law into their own hands because it is necessary and it is right and it does need to be done. So
interesting. I'll definitely be waiting for it. Unless you've already got your campaign going, in which case I'll.
No, hopefully we'll launch it in March. Not March.
I was gonna say
May.
it is March. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
Hey, sorry, May.
Yeah, beware the Ides of March.
March, but we're gonna launch it in May.
Definitely keep us informed because that's something I want to read.
Cool. Yeah. What it is on the one end, I do want to tell a straight-ahead, enjoyable superhero story on the surface, but have an undercurrent of satire. And you know how RoboCop was a satire of the '80s, capitalism and me culture, and just the cocaine, Reagan, and style over substance.
Yeah, that's why we love it.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers was a parody of fascism, or at least was trying to be. I want to do the same thing for all the social justice propaganda that the big two have been pumping out. What if they got everything they claimed they want?
Mm-hmm.
They'd still be happy.
Yeah. And I have a character that rises up that is everything that SJWs hate, including a big pair of tits.
Ooh.
So she's white, straight, and busty?
Yes. Actually,
20, 40,
we're
60,
politically
80. Sorry.
What's that?
I was doing Xavier's bit. I was like 20, 40, 60, 80. Just tell me when to stop.
All right, buddy, here, come on.
Yeah.
The angle I'm going for is I want it to have kind of a Batman Year 100 V for Vendetta feel, meets, again, RoboCop, but the hero is more along the lines of when Jeff Johns was writing Power Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Calling it the anti-Watchmen tale.
Right, yeah. So where it's not like the character, it's not like you're going with the characters, not grim, dark, gritty, dark.
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, the character's arc is that she was someone who was involved in the SJW revolution, not so much by her will, but she didn't have the guts to speak up and speak out, and could have really, if she had stood up, she could have prevented it from happening.
It's funny.
Due to a turn of events, she's given powers, very traditional superhero powers, and realizes this is her chance. This is her chance to make amends, to do right.
You will have.
So I want to end on optimism.
You have no idea how much that's going to resonate with people who are in that now. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I know quite a few people who are deep in the SJW. They don't want to be.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be ostracized either, right? Because as soon as they go against the grain, that's exactly what's going to happen to them because they've seen it. It's literally the the social justice NPC culture is ruled by fear.
Yeah.
If you don't do what we want you to do, we're not going to quote kill you because that's illegal, right? But we are going to make your life worthless.
I think part of that might come from Marxism as well, because everybody wants to be in the inner circle, the party where all the good stuff is. Nobody wants to be outside the circle.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people are Marxist or socialist commies. Let's
see. Seth says, if you want the SJW to really hate it, make it an unrepentant male. But yeah, that's true. But the one thing they hate more than unrepentant male is a white girl with ginormous titties.
Yeah.
So,
who identifies as a woman
and loves and loves herself for herself and not for anybody else. She's empowered.
Yeah. You can't be empowered if you're not a victim and you're not overcoming your victimhood. What?
Did we lose you guys? You still there?
I hope I didn't scare him away. If I did, I'm sorry.
You killed them. What have you done?
I'm sorry. Not again.
Oh no.
I can't go back to jail. I can't go back to jail.
Give them a minute to get back. They're just having some issues. Only if they are 5 times the size of the chest they're attached to, then I don't like it either. Are you guys back? Guess not.
We can wait.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Hey.
Yeah, our net cut out again.
It's okay. We can fill
what,
dead air.
What was that conversation we just came in?
Cult.
The Marxist ideology that they tend to all find themselves in, because a lot of them are socialist or like super commie.
By the way, we don't like commies here, in case you...
No, I agree.
No.
Fuck commies.
Yeah. I was
Communists are bad people.
They are.
Oh, yeah, and we were talking about boobies, according to the chat.
Oh, that's a good subject.
Oh, that's always a great subject.
but
that was exactly what we were talking about when they ducked out, was boobies.
Yeah, because Seth said in the chat, he said, if you want SJWs to really hate it, make it an unrepentant male. I said, or make it an unrepentant female with ginormous titties.
Actually, there's a couple reasons why I picked a female, but really my thought was the most damaging thing to the whole SJW feminist Marxist cause is a strong, independent woman who's beautiful and doesn't need them.
Right.
Yep.
And that's why they hate Comicsgate, because it's full of those.
Yeah.
Okay, I just tweeted to you the character.
Okay.
On the graded 0.5.
Okay. I will open that. Oh.
You?
Would this be okay to share?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Futuristic setting, so.
Yeah.
Really, the very first inspiration for it was an article Kat had written years ago about when they had ruined Power Girl, and my thought was, well, if I was to write a character that really captured all the things she liked about this character, how would I do it? Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking, well, what would be the villain? And really, the biggest villain would be the cultural forces that ruined comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Made it unacceptable to have a busty woman as a hero.
And okay, I just put
bring back the boob windows.
Yeah,
she is she's healthy.
Yeah,
she's very, very healthy.
She a farm girl? Because I can get behind that.
As we say in the South, we want to know where she's going later. So boobs are always good for a selling point. Just ask Japan; they've been doing it for years. This is true.
Anime titty is $1 billion industry now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
indeed it is.
Actually, way back when we first got into comics, on our second book, Titanium Rain, was first when the real push for boobs are bad started. And that was when I decided, no, every book I do, I'm going to have someone with big tits. Mm-hmm. Just to say fuck off.
Yeah. That's kind of my thing. It's like, if you're going to, there's two ways to go about it. It's either A, you want to draw in as many people as you want. I mean, obviously you do, because you want people to buy your book. And two is to offend as many people as you can. Because, go ahead.
Are you doing that thing where with each progressive book or each next book, the boobs get bigger and bigger?
No, I haven't done that, but I could try.
Dude, you're my hero.
As my boobs grow, so do my powers.
You got me to only use 20% of my bust.
Oh God! You just made us a fucking Naruto. I see. I've only used 1% of my power. I'm going to increase to 10%.
Well,
it sounds like me when I'm trying on clothes.
Yeah, both Piper and Kat probably can relate to those kinds of superpowers.
It's hard to keep them contained, though.
Yeah.
The bra is the limiter.
Yeah.
Unleash them!
See, Mata says he still doesn't know what socialism is. He got explained as a very short version. Everyone works for the community, and the community is the boss of everyone. That's a very...
Socialism is just essentially putting communism in a nice light.
Yeah.
it's all very theoretical. It works on paper, but it doesn't work in real life.
People don't realize that one of the first colonies in America was a socialist colony.
They almost starved.
Yeah, because it basically says, okay, we'll work, but we'll also feed the people who can't work, and everything will be fine. Well, then the people who were working says, well, why do I need to work? And they stopped working.
Yep.
Well, they also stored all their food in like a communal building, and anybody could get whatever they wanted whenever they wanted. So motherfuckers took all they could carry.
Yep. And then there's this. Then another. After that failed, another community leader in there came up with this idea. Hey guys, here's an idea. We'll exchange things for goods and services.
Really?
Yeah. And guess what? Thrive. All of a sudden, you got a thriving colony. So.
The one that I hate is when you always get these kids who, communism's about sharing. It's like, it's not sharing if you're taking someone's stuff without their permission.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, we were just talking. Me and Piper were talking before we went on air. We have a friend in Venezuela right now, right? And
Jesus!
No.
Yeah.
he is. We're worried about him. Me and Xavier especially. We're really worried about him. But there seems to be some hope. There seems to be some hope. He might be able to get out in the next couple weeks. Thank God.
Good.
I hope
He's
so.
been wanting to get out for the longest time. Like before it got to this point.
He was like, and I don't think he'll mind because he shares it on Twitter. But
yeah, I was gonna say he's interesting to follow on Twitter because he will tell you.
He recently lost his mother, and the reason why she had cancer, and the reason why she passed was because she couldn't get drugs that would have helped, probably saved her life.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And she was a doctor.
And she was a doctor?
She was a doctor.
Like a medical doctor?
Medical doctor. Had licenses and everything.
I think she was important to one of their bigger hospitals before everything collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she was there were people like literally smuggling him like painkillers and stuff that they could get a hold of for her, just to ease her pain. That's how people. You see these these idiots in our country, where we can live high on the hog, get fat, and do everything else. They tell us, well, we need to not worry about what's going on in Venezuela. Those people chose that. The hell they did.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it's really easy to be socialist or communist when you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
Until people come with guns to take their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't think that's ever going to happen.
It's kind of
They just think everyone's going to have money and be like them and not have to do anything. No.
It's kind of like Rage Against the Machine. Good music, terrible ideas, right?
Yeah.
They had this whole thing. It's like, oh, it's the system, man. It's the system. We got to get rid of the system because the system's holding everything down. I was like, you people are millionaires. Give your money away.
Yeah.
If it's so easy, give your money away. But will they? No. They'll never do that.
The problem with capitalism is that 1% of the people could control all the wealth. Yes, but under communism, 1% of the people do controls all the wealth, and it's the government and their close personal friends. All you're really doing is just changing who holds the wealth, but the percentage is the same.
Yeah, Three House Sanders is proof of that. Yeah, that's a.
And capitalism, at least, everybody has an opportunity to rise up.
Yeah, at least you got a shot.
The funniest thing I ever heard was when Hugo Chavez died. It was an MSNBC report about it. Of course, they were covering the funeral this is some great world leader we should respect, and they actually said this with a straight face. They said Hugo Chavez did a lot for his country, especially closing the gap between the rich and the poor. And the guy,
now they're all poor.
Yeah, and the guy I listened to, he said, "Yeah, he made everybody poor."
Jesus.
And see, they'll tell you, you'll get if you go on Twitter, I guarantee there are actual bots that will go on. Well, I wouldn't say bots, but there are people that they do searches and stuff. If you put in Venezuela as a socialist country, they'll come in and tell you no, it's not. I said, so the leader of the country calls it a socialist country, but obviously he's lying.
What does he know?
Yeah. Of course, they always tell you, actually, it's not real socialism.
It's not real socialism. Yeah.
Yeah, they tell you.
Real
they only say that
socialism hasn't been tried.
They only say it's not real socialism because it failed.
Oh, it's been tried. It just never succeeded.
Yeah, they always say that's not real socialism because real socialism hasn't been tried yet. I was like, well.
Yeah.
Well,
like, no.
Here's the thing about communism and socialism, and they both had the same issues and problems. They can work, but it has to be in a very, very, very small community. I'm talking less than 100 people, right? It can work if you want to start a town and you want to be a socialist town or a communist town, you go right ahead.
You got to be self-sufficient, though. That's the issue.
That's the issue. Able-bodied and self-sufficient.
Everyone's got to be motivated.
Yeah. If you want the world to be communist, everyone has to do it at the exact same time. Because if you're a communist nation and everyone else around you is capitalist, it's just you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, forget it. It's over.
That's a good point. Amada says in the chat.
A crazy old guy and a bunch of college students who don't know fuck all. Right? Did we lose them?
Yeah. No,
they're gonna get it right this time.
Yeah.
Look, when one of the biggest sources of money for Russia is underground commerce, because the only way anybody can have any sort of capitalism is going illegal, going to the black market, but it makes up a quantifiable part of their GDP.
Yeah.
That should be an indicator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like Caleb made a good point because he's the one he got in a lot of articles because of this tweet he made one time where the Venezuela currency was worth less than World of Warcraft gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yep, that was him.
I did see that.
Yep, that was him. He was the one who and the thing is, don't believe what they show you on the they say, well, this is like worth 200 bolivars, right? But as Caleb will say, yeah, now add 5 zeros to that. Because that's what they do. They inflate their money to make it look like it's like not that expensive, but it's actually very, very expensive. They just move decimal points around to, make it look
I don't think they count the money anymore. I think they just weigh the bricks on a scale.
Yeah, just like kind of like they used to do with gold. It's like, okay, you got 10 ounces of money. That works.
I just remember, reading about how I think it was like people were being jailed if they weren't turning over their pets as food. Is that correct?
What?
I had heard that. I know.
Specifically rabbits.
Yeah, I heard that. I think Caleb has talked about like theirs. And see, that's another thing. They will say, well, you see, it can't be socialism also because the government hasn't seized all the means of production. And because it still has private enterprise. It's like, yeah, okay. Here's how they get away with what they call private enterprise. The president's, Maduro, who's the current president, his friend owns owns this. His other friend owns that. His other friend owns this. That's what they call private enterprise. He still controls it. Yeah, he still controls it, but it's private. And like you said, it might as well be the government. That's how they get away with trying to say, oh, it's this and that and the other. And like Caleb said, a hot dog stand isn't like going to be owned by the government. You know what I mean? So, and he said then he said you got to actually find the fucking hot dogs. So
yeah.
Let's see. Bread lines are good, and white people don't know what being poor is like. Bernie Sanders said that for real.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Bernie Sanders doesn't know what being poor is like.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Did you know Bernie Sanders went to a hippie commune back in his college days, and they kicked him out because he wouldn't do anything?
No.
Yeah. They kicked him out because he wouldn't do anything. They said he wouldn't work. Had to get rid of him.
That's
I
funny.
have
I didn't know that.
personal grudges against Sanders because I'm sorry, that old guy pisses me off to no fucking end. Probably more than the normal douchebag politician, but just how the dude fucking took payola to bend over for Hillary.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that he had I think it was a radioactive dump site moved from what was going to be in his state, and he moved it to Texas because he didn't want to be near it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Oh, I like that. Bernie can still win. That's the that was the big joke about the whole thing. It's like, guys, seriously, Bernie can still win. Bernie's already conceded and everything, but he can still win. You know,
Jeb is the chosen one.
Let's see.
Exactly.
Did you Wombat says, dude lost me hard when he said, quote, white people don't know what being poor is like.
Yeah, that's when he lost me.
I grew up in a trailer park in rural North Carolina. Like, bud, stop listening to your fucking racial lobbying groups. Like, and as somebody who lives in North Carolina, I agree. So I know all about that. Let's see. Yeah, match my donation. Exactly. Still like somebody says AOC is just Bernie Sanders. People want to. No. That woman is crazy.
Ew.
Yeah. That woman is crazy.
Fuck?
Seth, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, seriously. I'm questioning your everything.
Oh gosh. So anyway, let's I was going to mention something before we go. Well, go whenever because it's my show, damn it. Here, okay. Change the subject. You want to know how Diamond's going to save the comic book industry?
Oh yeah.
By breaking more thumbs?
Yes.
Mr. Geppy says hello.
Are they gonna force mail out more comics nobody's gonna buy?
No, they're going to introduce a comic shop locator.
Oh.
So you can find the 5 that are still in business.
Actually, there's like 2,300. I just took paper on this for school. I think there's like 2,300 left.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they're gonna do what? Like the shop locator that's been in existence since forever.
But it's revamped. It works on mobile now.
Oh man, that's a game changer.
Go and Google Maps and
right.
Summon Picard faceplant. Seriously.
Oh my god.
I think you think the Diamond guy, Xavier. You think Diamond guy shows up at your phone and he's like, "Look, you don't have to download this app, but you need to download this app."
Mr. Geppy.
I could just imagine them announcing this and people laughing at him, and then go, "You have phones, don't you?"
they go full Blizzard. They just don't even care anymore. Yeah. full on Blizzard.
I don't care if it's a stupid idea. You got phones, don't you?
I stepped outside and there were 4 sweaty guys in tracksuits telling me to download this app. I don't know what's going on. Hey, download the app. Go to the comic store. I don't want to. What the fuck's wrong with you? Go to the comic store. Download the app.
Where my store is. There's like 2 of them within 10 minutes of me. Like, don't care. Download the app.
Yeah. I know exactly where they are. Shut up. But the reason we say that is because
every week.
reason we say that is like when we were talking about Diamond a few weeks ago, one of the articles we found was this woman who she owned a comic shop, and she was like, and they told her, said, we can sign you up for this retailer thing or something, but if you don't want to, that's okay. But we'll take your information down just in case you ever want to sign up. Next thing you know, she signed up for it.
Yeah.
They admit it was a mistake and that she wasn't supposed to be on it, but they also can't get her off it without her paying the cancellation fee.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
That's why I said.
You know, I'm currently reading a book on the Black Hand in 1905, 1907. Mm-hmm. And, the tactics of them sending notes to people basically saying, it would be a real shame if something happened to your store. Right?
Insurance.
It would be a shame if your shipments got, lost in the mail.
Yeah, I do like what Jason Black said in the chat, because said now we can watch those location markers vanish in real time. The shop's going.
I forgot.
I'm laughing. That's horrible.
I know we shouldn't laugh, but yeah. What was it?
Do you think
no, I feel bad for the shop owners, but Diamond's killing them, man.
I forgot who. I think it was a couple weeks ago. EVS was talking about this, and I think he said if the comic book shops, if they get below 1,500, then it's all over, essentially.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
that it basically becomes unsustainable at that point because I have not yet to see a new comic book shop opening this year, a report of that. I'm just seeing a bunch of them closing.
When was the last time one opened, actually?
That's a good point. Probably, I would.
I know it was a big deal when Bleeding Cool was promoting that A shop opened in 2017. They're few and far between. And actually, what I find interesting is how many stores aren't ordering strictly from Diamond anymore. A lot of them have figured out, I can get a better deal if I go through like Baker and Taylor or, some other distributor. I don't have to go through Diamond. And how many other stores are not strictly comic shops anymore? They've branched out into other things like gaming.
I was going to say most of mine have become game shops. And every time I get to go, it seems like the game part is overtaking the comic part.
Well, people aren't buying the comics.
Yeah.
Well, it's like yesterday.
If you want to get good comics, go to Indiegogo.
Yeah.
It was like yesterday. Somebody sent Ethan a couple of Funko Pops, and he says like we can't dog on these too much because these are literally keeping comic book shops afloat right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like you go into a comic book shop these days, and it's like they have an entire wall of Funko Pops, and just to try to like keep things balanced, essentially. GameStop has done the same thing.
What's the attraction of those things?
I don't know. They're not that they don't look that good.
Nendoroid. Buy Nendoroid. They're so much better.
They're expensive, but they are fun.
I understood the obsession with McFarlane figures when McFarlane was producing great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Buy Figma.
Let's see. 80% of the product is ordered by about 20% of the stores. Midtown, DCBS, Lone Star, Mile High. They cover about 20% of the market. 80% of the market, he meant, yeah. I mean, yeah, the bigger stores, yeah, they do cover quite a bit. And pops are cheaper, yeah. Yeah, but no one likes GameStop. Because I was mentioning GameStop also. They've also had to start carrying Funko Pops.
I used to be a manager at GameStop.
You did? Me too.
For whatever reason.
I finally met one of my
Let's put it this way. I quit on Black Friday.
Damn.
In fact, I quit to the district manager. I didn't even go to my manager. I quit to the district manager and said, look, I'll finish out today and then I'm done.
I was a senior game advisor for about 2 years. And my problem, the biggest problem I had was that my assistant manager didn't know how to do his job for some reason. And I said, I can't.
I can imagine why.
And I finally told the manager, look, I can't do his job and mine. I said, either he has to get to work or I got to go, So.
The other manager was on speed half the time.
Oh, wow.
For my store.
Yeah, my manager didn't sleep. He just he stayed in the store most of the time. But the thing was, he was trying to work, right? He was trying to keep because we had one of them tiny mall stores, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and it was just you could barely turn around. You'd elbow yourself. And
oh God, though I did.
We call them closets. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate going into those.
What was really bad was my particular location. It eventually closed, and the reason why is the next closest store, which is literally less than a mile away from us at the Walmart, which got more foot traffic because it's at a Walmart.
Yeah.
They were paying about, I think it was $2,200 a month in rent, and we were paying $5,000 a month in rent for a smaller location.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, because mall.
Yeah, because of mall.
Now, here's the thing. Were you working there when you could still rent the games for free?
Yes. Got 2 days.
Wasn't that the best and only perk of working there?
Yes. It's I can play all these games and I don't have to buy them.
I miss that so much. I seriously do.
I had a run in with the district manager one time because at our store everybody was always late, right? They never brought stuff back on time, and the reason why I was a day late bringing mine back was just because I was going to work the next day. I wasn't going to make a trip all the way to town to bring it back and then have to come back to work next. I said I'll just do it all in one day. It'll be fine, right? And then my DM says, you have to buy that. I'm like, the hell I am.
Wait, they tried to make you buy it?
Yeah, because I didn't bring it back on time. They said.
Oh, my DM didn't care.
Well,
You know, just as long as we brought them back in sellable condition, we had to bring it back in once every week, just to make sure that it was still in good condition. But they didn't care.
Yeah, all we did was, I mean, we usually, you know how you had to gut copies to put so you could put some out on the store shelves and stuff. We would just take those copies and take them home. You know, we wouldn't take like an actual sealed copy. Some people, well, we did, but I'm sure there were some stores that they would do that because I know a lot of people complain. I did not get a sealed copy. Well, you should have came in when the game was released new. But yeah. He tried to make me buy. I remember it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He was going to make me buy it. I'm like, I am not doing it. And he says, why not? I said, because if I'm buying it, I'm going to give you this list. And I pulled out the list of like our checkout list. And I said, of all these other people who are also going to have to buy stuff. Because I'm not going to be your example.
Nice.
And he backed down. Of course, I was also bigger than he was. So,
so what are you guys reading right now that's good?
Well, actually, we've been Xavier's been doing a lot of writing, and I've been reading the stuff he's writing essentially because we've
had cool.
Hey, good writing.
What are you working on, Xavier?
Thank you. Mostly, I'm most comfortable in sci-fi. I've been trying to branch into fantasy. I've got something I've been working on that somebody's been hella kind of mentoring me with. But right now, the book that I'm working on right now is for a comic. Do we want to tell them?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
The pitch for this is, and I'm not good at this, so I apologize that my pitch is going to suck. We have what if you put a super advanced AI on a submarine, but he was designed for a land vehicle, and he has human emotions, and he's super fucking depressed, like now because he doesn't want to be a sub, and you partner him up with somebody who isn't very bright but is extremely charming, and kind of put them in a sort of Kit and Michael Knight situation. And put them on adventure
quest.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that.
Knight Rider quest.
It's not. He's not far off, is he, Xavier? I mean, like,
you're not. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
He's like Darwin, but he's a sub.
Yeah. And he's always trying to kill himself. Because he doesn't want to live because he wants to be on land and not in the sea.
That was actually my favorite part to write.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like Knight Rider meets Sequest, but if Kit was suicidal and emo.
I was thinking like the dolphin from Johnny Mnemonic then instead.
Kit is a cutter.
Yeah, Kit is a cutter.
Because the opening, like I said, the opening scene of the book is basically the sub trying to kill the crew.
He's trying to take it down.
20, 40.
So,
yeah.
I take it this has some dark humor in it?
Just a bit. It's the full thing. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's so absurd, but it's so funny. The whole thing, like, this takes place in the 80s, right? Because why not? Because the 80s are rad. That was like our whole idea. It's like, hey guys, let's do it. Which we said in the 80s, right? Because it was rad.
Yeah, in the sub, of course, it's taking place in the 80s.
Yeah. So the idea is that we have this the whole plot is there's this base. It's called Sea Base A55. A55. You know what that spells, right?
No, don't steal my shit. No.
What do you mean? No, we've had the Sea Base A55 for 6 months. Get out of here.
No, I have had my mech, my A5S mech.
Well, that's A5S.
My AS5 mech.
That's totally different from what we have. What are you talking about?
Same joke, though. Same joke.
They're not remotely similar.
But anyway,
Armor Suit 5. No, see, it's the same joke. Don't.
So anyway, Sea Base ass gets
I'm gonna find y'all and kick you. Square in the nuts.
Anyway, Seabase ass gets taken over by a bunch of Russians.
Damn it.
Right? Because, of course, the bad guys got to be Russians. And so as our sub is trying to kill himself, he gets recalled back to base, and he gets mad because he can't kill himself. So they transfer him to another sub that's the exact same sub, except it actually has gimmicks on it that actually work. We even have a scene. I thought of this for Xavier, and he thought it was funny. He's doing a sonar run around the South Carolina coast. And they're saying, hey, what's this object on the screen? They said, and like the tech person says, that's the USS Monitor, from Civil War times. And, and it said it was the first ironclad ship. You could say it's a precursor to the, submarines. Try give a little education, right? A little education. And they said, what happened? Oh, it ran into a squall in, I forgot what year it is. And it sank, it sank beneath the waves. And then Carl, who's the name of the sub, he goes, God, I wish that was me.
Carl the sub.
Yeah, tell him what it stands for, Xavier.
Kinetic All-Terrain Reconnaissance Land Vehicle.
40, 60, 80.
I think we got a sale here, Xavier.
Oh yeah.
No. See, you have to understand, Knight Rider. That was my thing. But I didn't really want Hasselhoff. I wanted the car. But I didn't want it. I wanted car. So this is fitting that perfectly.
Well, see, that was like my idea. Like when me and Xavier were coming up with the idea, I said, okay, the thing is that Carl needs to be the star, like the main star. You can still have the human interaction because you need a human, right? It's kind of like Transformers. You don't care about the humans. You want fucking Optimus Prime to show up and wreck shit, right? So that was that's where the idea came from, and then it went from there. And I said, let's put it on a sub, and he was like, really? Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. And then we just kept writing jokes of him saying how he's going to kill everybody and end himself.
Yeah, but he has his hero moment. He has his hero moment, but not before some more wacky stuff happens. Especially when he finds out he's got tank treads. Yes, a sub that has tank treads. That's going to be a.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the Atragon could fly, so.
Yeah. The idea is, like, he has tank treads. When he finds out, he gets so excited that he has tank treads because that means he can go on land, land vehicle, right? So,
yeah.
We have this, and this is my what I call, when I was planning, storyboarding this per se, I said, this is my idea of, like, the best part of this issue. A full page spread. He's zooming onto the beach as fast as he can. He's got like rocket boosters and stuff to kind of propel him, right? And don't worry, yes, rockets work in the water, fine. So
well, sure, as long as they're not oxygen burning, sure.
Yeah. So he propels himself onto the thing. He goes way up in the air, and he's up in the air, and he's going, yeah. And the thing is, when he's in the air, he accidentally turns midair, and he ends up on his upside down, so he can't move. And he goes, "No!" And then he has to wait for. Just leave him like that. Yeah, and they leave him there because the hurricane's getting ready to blow in. They're going to go stay at a hotel. So yeah, that's our. That like I said, that's the long form of the pitch. So there's more to it, but.
So would this be a personality more akin to maybe Marvin, the terminally depressed android?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's more loud and vocal.
Yeah,
like even he has moments where he just enjoys stuff. I think there's actually a moment where he talks about he's okay with going to save the world because. All these people that are in danger, they've never really done anything to him, so it would be kind of a dick move to punish them for stuff that other people have done to him. But in the same breath, he also tells somebody else that he's the only member of the crew he actually respects, but if he could close the bulkhead up on him and drown him in his cabin, he would not feel bad.
Oh, and also that when they're going to save the world, he says, and I might, and who knows, maybe we'll all die on this mission, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
It's a sales pitch. When you're doing the short pitch, I think you really do need to have a very quick description or somebody you can compare the personality of Carl to. to solidify it in people's minds.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we're still, I wouldn't say early stage, but you're working on issue 3 right now. So
yeah, the first draft there. Right now we've got the first drafts of issue 1 and 2. I'm halfway through 3. I'm hoping to finish it tonight or tomorrow. We're looking at 6 books total, or 6 issues altogether, and we're thinking about splitting that and selling it as 2 volumes, just to get it out there.
yeah,
Cool.
and plus it gave us more room to play around with stuff and not limit us to too much of a page, count and stuff.
We're also kind of treating this as if this is the made-for-TV movie for an 80s TV pilot. So you're because they're always 2 hours, but when they're released in syndication, they're split into 2 episodes. We're kind of breaking the story up, but this is where the episode would end.
Yeah.
Because we really want it to be like this is a pilot for a 80s TV show that never was.
Yeah.
And we already got crazy ideas for the second story too. Like I said, that sort of things get wacky. That's the made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 seasons down the road. This is their big made-for-TV movie,
where we bring a character back. And then, like I said, this would actually take a lot to pull off. But we had a joke. We came up with a joke that like one of the characters from the first story, like for 4 seasons, he was gone. He just disappeared because you know how executives are. You've dealt with this before. Executives are always like, love it. Love everything about it. Wouldn't change a thing. Here's the things we want to change.
Yeah.
And of course the first thing is to get rid of one of the characters that, but everybody loved him, and we're going to have a joke where like he's, on con scenes for years, convention scenes for years, and everybody's like, where's Javier? Where's Javier? That's the name of the character. It's like, where's Javier? And then it's like, well, guess who's coming back? And the joke was that if we could get Eric Estrada to pretend that he was Javier. I'm back, baby.
Well, do you want to call it a night, or?
I'm gonna say it is getting a little late. And we could definitely go ahead and hang it up.
That's what 10:40 for you guys.
Yep, 10:40.
Well, I've had a blast talking to you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, love to have you again sometime.
Sure, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So yeah, guys, let me give the crowd a send off over here. Diamond's Google Map Simulator. That's a good one. I love the chat. Guys, thank you for showing up tonight. We appreciate you showing up. And let me put this back on the screen. Did I? Oh, I committed a boo-boo. I accidentally closed your campaign. The link's in the description. Case File Arkham. Go check it out. Always have a backup. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody. We will see you Monday. So have a good weekend.
And I came up with the A55 joke first.
It's not even the same joke, Piper. It's totally different.
Same joke.
I will say goodbye, and you say your bye-bye, okay? Goodbye. Goodbye.